Music is a magical thing. One of the most profound and whimsical descriptions of a musician's job came to me from Adam Payne, a lecturer at the Academy of Contemporary Music. What we do as musicians is manipulate the movement of molecules in the air to create or convey emotion. It's powerful stuff, and when the composer is in perfect tune with his source material, you get something magical. Something like this. And let's be honest, Dark Souls 2 has some amazing musical moments as well. So join me as we discover some of the most amazing musical moments of Dark Souls. The ambience in these games is perfect. Generally speaking, when you're playing through an area, you might not even process the background ambiences that are presented to you. But it's there, and its contribution to those feelings of dread when facing an enemy, or calm when resting at a bonfire, is greater than you'd think.
Oh, what's this? Well, it's actually a really comfortable sitting technique that I learnt from Dark Souls 1. There's not a single thing in that game that I can't...
Especially because the ambience throughout the series is incredibly simple and consistent.
Why am I even doing this? This is a stupid bit anyway. I'm not
Throughout the game, this ambient motif molds with whatever situation you're in. Because of its almost atonal simplicity, it can add to pressure when you're on edge trying desperately not to die and lose a level's worth of souls. But if I'm having a rest, at a bonfire or waiting for assistance, the sound keeps you immersed in the world with a calm, spacey-like influence, like a distant wind chime. There's a distinct lack of music outside of the bosses in the main game. Your sonic experience is subtle, and that's not by mistake.
Doesn't fit. I thought it would fit.
So when you start Dark Souls 3, you play through the Cemetery of Ash, and then you're tested by Iudex Gundyr. As a new player, this fight will be an ordeal. It perfectly sets the tone of the game and teaches you how to play it. There are a million videos on why this works so well, so I won't delve too much on gameplay mechanics, but here's the thing. Once you overcome the judgment of Gundyr, there's a short path into the Firelink Shrine, where for the first time, you hear this. At first, you hear it and you probably won't think too much of it. But as you traverse the unforgiving world of Lothric, this music will become home to you. A masterful example of this is the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, particularly the track Concerning Hobbits. This nostalgic, peaceful and calm theme is referenced throughout the score. It presents both the characters and audience a moment to breathe and reflect in an otherwise dire situation. That moment of peace prepares us for the challenges to come, and without it, I don't think the movies would have been timelessly adored as they are. So, when you re-enter the shrine, you'll generally have overcome a large area with lots of souls to cash in and level up, or have defeated a boss, and that music will be the first thing to greet you. Soft and gentle, like a lullaby. Concerning Hobbits is performed in D major, and the lead is played on a tin whistle. This key feels very diatonic and doesn't challenge the listener with harsh dissonances. The Dark Souls 3 Firelink Shrine music, however, is played in F minor, which Schubert himself described as a deep depression, funeral lament, groans of misery and longing for the grave. It's almost as if he had played the game himself. It's soft, calm, and gentle, but it's far from happy. The strings drone slowly and the basses stick to the root F note for the majority of the composition, giving a feeling of grounded hesitation. The journey you embark upon is tragic. Everyone is falling apart. Except for Andre. He doesn't give two schnitzels, he's just happy smithing. I mean, this guy's seen it all before. Literally nothing can hurt him, he doesn't care.
The coal of that peaceable giant. I miss the old bugger, I do.
This is all the same in Dark Souls 1. The swelling strings and lamenting harp, they feel like home to me, but it's not a happy home. Even waifu won't speak to you in this one. But in a way, I find this one more effective as acting as a reprieve from the awful world of Lordran, because until you've found the Lord Vessel, until you've gotten to a point of proficiency in the game, you have to travel on foot to reach home. Now, the levels will guide you there without you knowing, but the level of relief when that music plays and you know you're home safe is huge. That music now means something to you. Wait, is that snoring? And Dark Souls 2 actually had... Who am I kidding? There is no question for me that the absolute highlight of these games is stepping through a fog wall and not knowing what's on the other side. And the near dead silence of the main game only builds that anticipation. You're expecting your ability, patience, sense of vision and hearing to be tested and you don't feel ready. But there is no other option. You have to take a breath and step through. In that moment, you'll generally be treated to a cutscene introducing the boss, but the music won't begin until the fight does. The suspense is tangible. The health bar appears and the music engages you. This is life and death. The loud, harsh, menacing tracks that play over fights like Vordt of the Boreal Valley overwhelm you, influence your playstyle, inciting panic and dread, and that dictates the tempo at which you should fight. Vordt is quick, especially in his second phase. Dodging his charges as the camera swings to keep him in view feels frantic. You need to get in behind him and defeat him ASAP. It's not fast music, it doesn't rush you like Father Gascoigne, where you need to use the rally system to stay alive. But its gigantic sounding composition, horns blaring, huge choirs, and this massive composition makes it abundantly clear you're in danger and you need to keep a level head if you're going to survive. The music pacing is consistent throughout the series, but sticking with Dark Souls 3, the polar opposite of Vordt lies on the opposite side of the courtyard in Lothric Castle. The Dancer of the Boreal Valley. She moves slowly and gently, but she's deadly, and the music reflects that. Her moves are well telegraphed, but her area of effect is large, and her combos are lethal. Mistiming a dodge or panicking and frantically rolling around will see you punished. You have to roll with the flow of the music, be patient and smart when choosing when to move and where to go. The music doesn't actively try to frighten you, it's sinister, passive. But when you manage to drop her health low enough, phase 2 begins. Now, the dancer has pulled a second sword out of the abyss and started a spinning attack. The intensity is stepped up. The strings swell, the voices harmonise and build into a multi-layered arrangement. The theme and the tempo remain the same, but the pacing of the fight isn't superficially changed with the speed of the music, but by the genuine pressure you feel. How on earth do I deal with this? Her telegraphs are tighter and her combos are longer, and she has 2 swords now! The image of Pontiff Sully gives me conniptions, and this visual reference is terrifying me. But just like the music, the pressure is on. You need to step it up, but the tempo is the same. You need to maintain composure, pick your windows to dodge, conserve stamina, survive. I remember being fascinated by this the first time I witnessed it, and she instantly became one of my favourite bosses in the series. And then there's King Vendrick.
That's Nuremberg! That's Adolf Hitler. He was leader of the runners-up in World War II.
Ah, Dark Souls 2 did do something right.
I'd be remiss not to mention Sister Friede. I mean, the Psych Out, when you see Father Ariandel and approach him, he must be the final boss, right? Psych! Actually, it's the nice lady from outside. She's not the easiest, but bearable, with only one phase. Psych! Actually, she gets up, and Father Ariandel gets mad, and tries to smash you with a bowl. It's pretty hard to get through, but when you manage, the relief is immeasurable. Psych! Actually, she legally changes her name in the afterlife and turns into the ultimate badass and kicks your ass. 3 phases. I could have cried. But the superstar of this show is the music. Oh, the music. We start with easily the most chilled track in the game. Like the dancer, it's slow. You've got to be smart about this. She'll go invisible and strike you without any visual cues. You've got to listen carefully to her breath if you want to escape without wasting all your stamina by running around. The quiet soundtrack leaves space for this sound-centric mechanic to breathe. No pun intended. But again, it's sinister. Dangerous. When you finally overcome this challenge, Scotty goes mad, but the music waits. It leaves the moment to happen all the way until the second phase begins. Now, one voice has become a choir, one violin has become an orchestra, and everything has changed. The room is on fire now, and you need to be aware of your surroundings or else you'll get caught from behind. The father is a loud boss. You can hear him roar and slam his bowl as he charges across the room. The sonic telegraphing allows you to deal with Friede and take action when danger is coming from behind. And when you finally fell them, silence. I threw my controller down in celebration. I'd done it. DLC complete. A third phase? I don't have any health left. I'm emotionally drained. Holy damn! The second phase music returns, but this time, it's uninterrupted by a loud, brash, shouting, bowl-handling Father Ariandel, the timpani menacingly pacing. The choir at the forefront of the arrangement now. Black Flame Elfriede has lost it. Her moveset is kind of familiar, but now she's pumped with AoE effects and a lethal frost attack. Oh, and this badass move.
Blim 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 blim.
You know what I'm going to talk about now. When you arrive at the final boss of Dark Souls 1, you expect an overture, right? A culmination of all things epic, terrifying. You expect Gwyn to be the ultimate warrior defending his flame. But instead, it's the opposite. It's not disappointing, not at all, but it's a soft piano theme that will stay with you forever. There's no fanfare, no grandeur. You're just perpetuating the cycle of life and dark, the curse of humanity, and to do it, you have to murder this hollow, unrecognizable king. So when you arrive at the Soul of Cinder's boss room, you get what you expected in the first game. The quick string line, screaming choir, epic horn line, it plays in 3/4, but with little hinting at the accents until the staccato string lines come forward. The fight slowly becomes a kind of waltz as you dance around the boss, avoiding movesets that we as players are very familiar with. you deplete his health bar, and god damn it, you're not getting caught off guard by this one. We all expected a second phase, but no one expected this. The reveal of Gwyn's theme after a quick retardando sends chills down your spine. It commands your attention as for one final time the pacing of the fight is suggested to you sonically. The Soul of Cinder starts using movesets very similar to Gwyn in the first game, and our experience of Dark Souls peaks. The music calms right down to just a cello and a piano. It's fascinating, the disconnect between the pressure and the music. It reminds you that even though the journey was different, the result is the same. The choices are the same. The tragedy is the same. So what is it about these wonderful soundtracks that makes them so special? I've always had a visceral relationship with this game. It's consistent, exciting, and incredibly replayable. It feels like Yuka Kitamura, Suka Satoi, and Motoi Sakuraba have had a deep understanding of not only the boss's flavours and stories, but also the fights and how they're intended to be played. Of course, a lot of Miyazaki's RPG build style invites players to experiment and find as many ways to deal with enemies as possible, but there always is an ideal method of combat to result in a certain experience. These games are a huge piece of gaming history, and I believe their soundtracks play a huge part in that. Also, I didn't mention Dark Souls 2 that much because I feel a genuine disconnect between that and the other two games. I'm not willing to accept a game where a boss is a load of rats. It's just a load of stupid bitey little sunbit. I could go on for 10 more videos about these soundtracks. They're so rich and full of secrets, and in fact have inspired me to create something that I think you're going to love. I have written and recorded demos for a Dark Souls EP. It takes some of the boss themes and turns them into massive, progressive, rock, metal, epic songs. Depending on its reception, I'd like it to be the first of many Fromsoftware inspired titles. I've teamed up with some amazing musicians. We're planning on getting in the studio and recording the EP by the end of the year. This is where I need your help. We've created a Kickstarter campaign, mainly to raise funds for studio time. We want to record live instruments through Studio Outboard ready for mix, so that the music sounds as professional as anything else you'll hear on the radio or Spotify. In the description below, you'll find a link, and of course, contributing is an opportunity to snag one-off items, keep up to date on our progress, and secure you early access to the music in various formats when it's ready. So thank you for listening to me rant about the music in these games. I haven't covered a lot, but these are some of my favourite moments. What are your favourite moments? Let me know in the comments below, and please check out that Kickstarter campaign. It would be so cool to have you as a patron to this amazing project, which I think the entire community will enjoy.